Just cleaning up my mess. Hey everybody, it's time for Strat-O-Matic Baseball. Spokane Steve, or Steve Aquilon. Either way, it's a ball game. April 19th, 1966, Detroit at Boston. This is the first game of a doubleheader, and I might play it as that. We'll have to see. See how tired I am after the game, I guess. This first game, I'll tell you what, you've got two good hitting teams in Fenway with two very hittable pitchers on the mound. This has offensive battle written all over it. And of course, we know it doesn't always go to plan. And there's Jeffrey has arrived, and Simon. So let's go over it's Bill Monbouquet for Detroit, 4.73. Dave Moorhead, a computer-only card. This was the first computer-only card I printed because I was like, I can't use a nameless card for the starting pitcher. That's just ridiculous. But you can't really read it against lefties, so then I made what I call the giant Moorhead. I'll refer to that on a roll versus the left-handed hitter. You can pretty much read the right-handed side. And we've got, he's a righty. They're both righties. I've got some coffee. I've got some tea brewing, finishing my coffee on a very cold Wednesday afternoon in Spokane. We'll get to the starting lineups here. For Detroit, leading off and playing third base will be Don Wirt. Jerry Lumpy bats second and plays second base. Norm Cash, first base, batting third. Al Kaline, the right fielder in the cleanup spot, with Willie Horton playing left field and batting fifth. Don Demeter will be in center field today. Mickey Stanley gets a day off. He bats sixth. Dick McAuliffe is the shortstop, hitting seventh. Orlando McFarland will do the catching and bat eighth. Monbouquet hits ninth. So Freehan also getting a rest. I assume he'll play in the nightcap. Probably Stanley as well. We'll see. I haven't looked that far ahead. Boston features Lenny Green in center field leading off. Eddie Casco at third base hits second. Yaz hits third and plays left field. Tony Conigliaro in right field hits in the cleanup spot. George Scott, the first baseman, bats fifth. Bob Tillman will do the catching in the first one. He'll hit sixth, with Rico Petrocelli at shortstop hitting seventh. George Smith, the second baseman, bats eighth. Dave Moorhead hits ninth. So we're just about ready to roll. And I'm well, Simon, thank you. I hope you're doing well this afternoon. Probably staying inside. Simon lives in Spokane, as I do. Both California transplants. And there's a lot of us up here. All right, Monbouquet's ready to go now. Wirt stepping in from the right side. The umpire shouts, play ball. The sign from Tillman, the windup. Here's the first pitch. It's a 5-12 against the righty. That's a base hit up the middle for Wirt. And we're underway here as Don Wirt with a leadoff single to get things started. Wirt a 13, not an asterisk. He's a, Monbouquet a +2. I'm sorry, oh God, no. This is all messed up. This is Moorhead pitching. I'm already blowing it. So that was a 5-12. What the heck am I doing now? I'm already screwing it up. It's a 5-12. So Wirt does not have a single. It's a 5-12. I beg your pardon. I'm not off to a very good start here. On a 5-12, it's a grounder to the pitcher X. That's Moorhead, a 4-E-0. Here is the roll on the play. On a 5, it's the error range, an E0. On an 8, he makes the play. So I beg your pardon. Work grounds out to the pitcher. One to 3, and there's one down. And here's Lumpy now. Let me get that tee fired up. Moorhead the windup. Here's the pitch to Lumpy now. 2-8, so we corrected that in time. 2-8, struck him out. Lumpy down on strikes. 2 down, not so quickly, thanks to me. And here's Cash. The windup and the pitch to Norm Cash is a 6-2 to the left-hander, and he loses him, ball 4. That's a walk to Cash. Cash no threat to run. Actually, he might be. Moorhead's a +9. And Tillman's a +3, so the most you can be is a 5. So Cash would be an 18 not held. He'd have to roll a 2. But heck, why not? Let's try for it. No lead. Okay, and it's K-line with 1 away and a man on first. Moorhead from the stretch. That's going to be a 110 to the righty. A tapper down to third base for Casco. Throws across in time, and the side is retired. So no runs, no hits, 1 left. We're just getting underway here with Detroit nothing. Boston coming to bat. Monbouquet getting loose. I'm going to grab that tee real quick. Okay, that hits the spot. Okay, so I almost snafu'd the first inning, but we have corrected it and we're underway here. Lenny Green, left-handed hitting outfielder, leads it off for the Red Sox. Monbouquet ready to work. The sign from McFarland, and here's the pitch. That's a 3-9 against the righty. Swung on and missed strike 3, and down goes Green on strikes. And that'll bring up Casco. Monbouquet winds now, delivered. The pitch to the plate is a 2-6 against the right-hander, a single 1 through 6, and that just does. Oh, McAuliffe knocks it down, but he doesn't have a play, and that's going to go as a single. So right into the hole, McAuliffe able to smother it and keep it on the infield. But Casco has himself a single. Monbouquet also does not hold runners well. Not as bad as Moorhead, but he's a +2. And to make matters worse, McFarland's a +2. So Casco would be a 20 not held. He'd have to roll a 2, but it's worth a shot. Again, he's going to try it. Somebody's got to roll a 2, but it's not going to be him. So he's on, 1 down, and here's Yaz now. Monbouquet from the stretch. The pitch to Yaz on a 6-7. That's going to be ripped down the right field line for a base hit. Over to cut it off is K-line. Casco will steam into third. And Boston has runners at the corners here with 1 down. Yastrzemski is an asterisk. He will have to be held on, an asterisk 15. So they're holding Yastrzemski. That would make him a +4, a 19, a 17 if he got the lead. And they're going to let Canigliaro hit away with runners at the corners. Pretty much anything but a double play would be acceptable to the Red Sox here. A fly ball. Pretty much anything. And on a 3-12, that's a high fly ball to left field. Back goes Horton on the track, makes the catch. Casco will tag and score on a homer 1 through 8. The roll was a 17. So Casco tags and scores. And it is 1-0 Boston. 2 down now. Yastrzemski still at first, still held on. And here's George Scott. From the stretch, here's Monbouquet's delivery. on a 6-6. That's a single to 14, but that ground ball is going to be scooped up by Cash, who will take it to the bag himself to retire the side. The Red Sox get a run on 2 hits and leave a man. After 1 inning, it's Boston 1, Detroit nothing. Just getting underway, settling in. I'm using the crap top. My laptop is back in the shop, so I'm using what I call the crap top. It's the borrowed computer. It's adequate for some things, but the biggest thing is I do not have my Strat-O-Matic Windows game. That's on my laptop, which is in the shop. But that's okay. Sometimes I like to refer to that for certain things, but we can play it just fine this way. Okay, it's Horton, Demeter, and McAuliffe due up. Boston jumps out to a 1-0 lead. Moorhead ready to work now. The windup. The pitch to Willie is a 2-6, and that's a high fly ball to deep left field. Yastrzemski going back, and that ball is gone. Home run, Willie Horton. And that ties the game. Holy cow, one thing I do remember, even without having my stats, Horton came into this game leading the American League in runs batted in. That would be his 10th and extends his lead. So a blast by Willie Horton to tie things up, and here's Demeter. Moorhead, the windup. Pitch to Demeter on a 1-4. It's a tapper down to third base. Casco has it. Throws across in time. There's one away. And here's McAuliffe. McAuliffe was among the RBI leaders in the first week of the season. Moorhead, the windup. Pitch to McAuliffe on a 6-2. He loses him, ball 4. I had to check the giant Moorhead card for that result, but it is a walk. You can almost see it there. My eyes are 67-year-old eyes, so there's that. McAuliffe will not be held. He's got that 7 caught stealing. That'll deter him from trying anything. And here's McFarland, the backup catcher for Detroit. Let's see what he did that year. 254 and 138 at bats, a 413 slugging. Not bad at all for a backup catcher. And here's Moorhead's pitch from the stretch on a 6-7. That's a ground ball to second base X. That's going to be Smith. Smith, a solid 2E28. This could be 2. Here's the roll on the play. On an 11, that's the error range. An 8 on a 28. And that is indeed a ground ball A. So Smith to Petrocelli to first. And that will retire the side. So a fine double play started by Smith. And that'll do it. But the Tigers tie it up on Horton's homer. 1 hit, 1 run, no one left on. We're going to the bottom of the second in a 2-2 ball game. Monbouquet getting loose now. I'll have a little of this tea. Constant comment decaf. Well, now that I think about it, I'm not sure I'm supposed to say that either. They might construe that as advertising or something. I'm pretty new to the streaming world. Most of you guys know that. I don't really know what all the rules are. I dropped an F-bomb in a game the other day. I'm not sure that's allowed either. So Monbouquet ready to work. It's going to be Tillman to lead things off. Let's get Tillman up to the plate. There he is now, taking his time getting up there. The wind-up and the pitch. On a 1-7. That's a base hit to 2, but that will be a liner speared by Wirt. And there's 1 down. And here's Petrocelli. Rico Petrocelli. And here's the windup in the pitch. Pitch to Rico is a 1-6. Swung on and missed strike 3. For Monbouquet, his second K of the ball game. And here's George Smith. Smith started that excellent double play that ended the top of the inning. 2 down now, and here's the pitch. On a 1-9, a tapper down to short for McAuliffe. He's got it and throws him out. 1-2-3 inning for Monbouquet. And we're all knotted up at 1 after 2 complete. And hello, Gary M. Welcome. Glad you could join us. Yes, and I'm sure Spokane isn't the only place that's cold today. That's for darn sure. My guess is it's getting cold all over. Here's Moorhead. Well, not in Florida, right, Jeffrey? Still pleasant down there, I would guess. I have a cousin that lives in Sarasota. All right, it's Moorhead. Monbouquet to lead it off. He's a right-handed batter. The windup in the pitch is a 4-11 against the righty. That's a fly ball to left field X. That's going to be Yastrzemski. It's about as good as they come at a 1-6. And here's the play on a 2. Look at that. Yastrzemski racing to the line, still coming, and makes an amazing running catch that only a one outfielder could make. What a play by Yastrzemski. So that's a web gem. Monbouquet sliced it to the line. It looked like Yaz didn't even have a chance, but he just kept coming, reached out just near the line and made that grab. Holy cow, was that pretty. And here's Wirt now. Moorhead, the windup. The pitch is a 5-8, struck him out. So 2 away quickly, and here's Jerry Lumpy. Lumpy struck out in the first inning. There's Moorhead, the windup. Pitch to Lumpy is a 2-10, fly to left, playable. Yastrzemski drifting over and puts it away in a 1-2-3 inning for Dave Moorhead. And so far, so much for the pre-announced offensive battle, huh? Okay, Monbouquet gets set now. Moorhead will lead it off for Boston. He is a right-handed hitter. Weak hitter, 3 hitters card. Here's the pitch. On a 3-9, swung on and missed strike 3. So Moorhead overmatched there. He goes down easily. And here comes Lenny Green. Green struck out in the first. That's 3 Ks for Monbouquet now. Here's the windup and the pitch. On a 5-7 to the left-hander. That'll be a base hit into right field. So Lenny Green with a 1-out single. Green, no threat to run. And here's Casco. Casco singled in the first, came around to score. Monbouquet from the stretch now. Pitch to Casco is a 1-6. That's going to be a grounder to short. That's going to be 2. McAuliffe has it, steps on the bag, throws to first in time. And he does it himself for a 6-3 double play. No runs a hit, nobody left on after 3 complete. We got a 1-1 tie. As Moorhead gets ready to work here in the 4th, he'll be facing the heart of the Detroit order, Cash, Kaline, and Willie Horton. That is one formidable middle of the lineup. Okay, Cash standing in now from the left side. Moorhead gets the sign. Here's the pitch to Norm. That's a 6-10 to the left-hander. That's third base X. That's going to be Casco. He's a 3-11. Bouncer to his left. Here's the play. On a 16, he's got it and throws him out. So ground out to third, and that'll bring up Al Kaline. Kaline bounced out to third himself in the first inning. Moorhead comes set now. The windup. Pitch to Kaline on a 4-5. He taps it down to third. That's going to be Casco again. He throws him out. Quickly 2 away here, and it's Willie Horton. Horton, of course, hit a mammoth home run in his last at bat to tie the game. And Moorhead goes into the windup. The pitch to Willie Horton on a 2-5. He walks him. So Moorhead, being very careful with Willie, after that first at bat, he puts him on. He probably doesn't mind doing that at all. He'll take his chances with Demeter. From the stretch, here's his pitch to Demeter. That's a 6-8 to the right-hander. That's going to be a fly ball to right field playable. Canigliaro is right there and makes the catch, and that'll do it. No runs, no hits, a man left. Still 1-1 as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Monbouquet getting ready to go here. The Red Sox will send up the heart of their order. Yastrzemski, Canigliaro, and Scott. Okay, Monbouquet's ready. The sign from McFarland. Here's the pitch to Yaz. That's going to be a 4-3 to the left-hander. Fly to right field X. That's K-line. K-line's as good as they come at a 1E3. Here's the roll on the play. On a 2, boy, there's another one. Down to the line, K-line running towards the line. Diving try, and he's got it. Oh, my God. What a play by K-line on the roll of a 2. So another brilliant play in this ball game. Yastrzemski made an incredible catch. And now it's K-line's turn. And with 1 out, here's Canigliaro. His sacrifice fly in the first drove in Boston's lone run to this point. And here's the pitch. 6-4 to the right-hander is a fly to center field X. That'll be Demeter. He's a 3E7. Here's the play. On a 19, he cruises over and makes the catch. So nice catch, Demeter. And there's 2 down quickly. And here's George Scott. Scott's got some pop. 0 for 1. Monbouquet winds and deals. And here it is, a 4-4 shortstop X. That's going to be McAuliffe. McAuliffe is a 3E28, so all 3 rolls on the X chart this inning. 3E28 on a 14. McAuliffe has it and throws him out. 1, 2, 3 goes Boston, and we're knotted at 1 after 4 complete. So far, 2 very hittable pitchers doing a very fine job. Moorhead is an S5, so this is a potential inning of fatigue for him. Although he's shown no signs of it so far, the lone hit he's allowed, the homer to Willie Horton. And it will be McAuliffe, McFarland, and Monbouquet here in the 5th inning. Moorhead ready to go now. The windup. Pitch to McAuliffe is a 6-12 to the left. He gets a grounder to the pitcher X. He's a 4E0. Here's the play. On an 8, that's the error range. E0, of course, makes all the plays. That'll go 1-3X, and McAuliffe's retired. Here's McFarland now. Moorhead the windup. Here's the pitch, a 2-7, swung on and missed strike 3, and down goes McFarland. And Monbouquet's going to bat. Let's see what his rating is. So he's an S5 too. So neither of these pitchers normally going deep into the games, but he's going to hit. We'll see how it goes. Here's the pitch from Moorhead, 1-9. He struck him out. 1, 2, 3, go the Tigers. 2 Ks for Dave Moorhead. That's 4 in the game for him. We go to the bottom of the 5th, still deadlocked at 1. Tillman, Petrocelli, and Smith coming up for Boston. Monbouquet his first possible fatigue inning or endurance inning. As he goes into the windup, the pitch to Tillman on a 2-9. That's a high fly ball to left field. Back goes Horton. Just shy of the track. He makes the catch. Homer 1-2. The roll is a 16. So a loud out by Tillman, and here comes Petrocelli. Petrocelli struck out in the second inning. Monbouquet the windup. Here's the pitch now on a 1-6. Swung on and missed strike 3. That's twice Monbouquet has whiffed Petrocelli. And that will bring up George Smith with 2 down. Monbouquet the sign now. Here's the pitch. A 5-11 to the right-hander. That's going to be a base hit up the middle. And George Smith is aboard with a 2-out single. Now I'm thinking, okay, do you hit for Moorhead? Are you happy just to get 5 good innings out of him? Or do you want to push it? There are 2 outs. Well, Monbouquet hit, so Moorhead's going to hit. It's only the 5th. Here's the pitch on a 6-6 to the right-handed. It's a single to 14. And how about that? Moorhead's got a base hit with a 1-base advance. Single by Moorhead. Smith will hold up at second. And that's going to bring up Green. First and second, 2 down. Tie ball game. Green trying to give Boston the lead here. And here's the pitch on a 4-8 to the left-hander, and he walks him, and that tires Monbouquet. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Here comes Chuck Dressen. That's going to be it. Monbouquet is clearly fatigued. He'll be coming out. He went 4 2/3, which is kind of about what you would expect. And hello, Ron. Welcome. Monbouquet allowed 5 hits. 1 run so far, but the bases are full and they're all his. He walked a batter, struck out with 4. So coming in from the Detroit bullpen, I didn't have anybody ready, but that's okay. We'll work around that. They're going to bring in Joe Sparma. He pitched in this game in real life. Seems like a good candidate as any for the middleman role. Sparma, a right-hander. They're also going to get a lefty up. Hank Aguirre's going to get loose. So bases loaded, 2 down. It's Casco. Sparma's ready to work now. The full windup, and here's the pitch to Casco. On a 6-9. That's a grounder to shortstop X. That'll be McAuliffe. He's a 3-E28. Here's the play. On a 16, he makes the play. He picks it up. Shovels over to Lumpy for the force. And that'll do it. No runs, 2 hits. The Sox leave the bases loaded. Sparma comes on and shuts the door. And after 5 complete, it's still 1-1. Moorhead coming out for the 6th. Top of the order for the Tigers, Wirt, Lumpy, and Cash. If anybody gets on, Al Kaline. Moorhead set now, the windup and the pitch. A 3-5. That's a base hit into right field for Wirt, and he's aboard. So a single for Wirt. Again, Moorhead with a terrible hold. 18 not held for Wirt. They'll have to hold him on. That would be a 60. And he's going to try for it on a 7. Does not get it. So Wirt held on, and here's Lumpy. Lumpy a B hit and run. That's an interesting thought. On the other hand, Wirt has already failed to get the lead, so if he misses the hit and run, he's a dead duck. No, he's going to hit away. Moorhead from the stretch. Meanwhile, the Sox are getting somebody up. They're going to get Ken Sanders loose. Here's the pitch to Lumpy from the stretch. On a 6-11 against the lefty. That is going to be... Good grief, what is that result? It's a single. Single with a 1-base advance. So Lumpy with a hit. And now you're into the heart of the order. First and second, nobody out. Here's Cash with K-Line on deck. And here comes Billy Herman. And that's enough. He's seen enough out of Moorhead. He's going right to Sanders here. So Ken Sanders coming on. For Moorhead, 5+. Only gave up 3 hits. But 2 of them were to lead off this inning, and that was enough for Billy Herman. He walked 3. He struck out 4. The lone run, the homer to Horton, but 2 runners on are his responsibility. And here's Sanders now. Ken Sanders, a righty. Cash, K-Line, and Horton due up with 2 ducks on the pond. Here's the pitch from Sanders to Norm Cash on a 3-6. That's going to be down. That's a base hit into right. 2-base advance. Wirt will come around to score. Lumpy into third on the RBI single by Norm Cash, and the Tigers take a 2-1 lead. Lumpy goes to third on the play. Runners at the corners and nobody out. And now how is Boston going to play it? This early in the game, they're gonna play back. Looking for the ground ball. Al Kaline steps to the plate. From the stretch, here's Sanders' delivery. A 6-6 to the righty, and he walks him, and the bases are loaded. Oh, my. Cash down to second. Bases loaded. Still nobody out. 2-1 Detroit. They've got the sacks full, and Willie Horton at the plate, who's already homered in this ball game. Sanders set now. Here's the windup. The pitch to Willie on a 1-7. He struck him out. And that's the first out of the inning. And that's a big out. With the bases loaded and nobody out. That's exactly what you want if you're Boston. Here's Demeter now, 0 for 2. They'll remain back. They'd love to get a ground ball here and get out of this. Here's the pitch. On a 5-7 to the right-hander. That is going to be down the left field line for extra bases. Lumpy will score. Cash will score. K-Line can try to score. That's to left field. Yastrzemski a -3. Cash 12-9. Cash will hold on a 2 RBI double by Don Demeter on a 5-7. The roll is a 2. And just like that, it's 4-1. One out, second and third, and now Boston will bring the infield in. And here's McAuliffe. 4-1 Tigers here, top of the 6th. Runners on second and third and 1 down, and here's Dick McAuliffe. Sanders, a glance at third base, and now comes to the plate. on a 412 against the lefty. That's a fly ball to center field. That's going to be deep enough for K-Line to tag up. Green makes the catch. Here comes K-Line. He'll score. Sacrifice fly McAuliffe. 4 runs in the inning now, and it is 5-1 Detroit. Sacrifice fly McAuliffe. Excuse me, also Canigliaro had one. And here's McFarland with 2 down. Sanders from the stretch on a 3-6 high fly ball to left field, deep and back and gone. Orlando McFarland with a 2-run home run, and the Tigers have broken this one wide open. Demeter will come in to score. Let's look at that again. 3-6 to 17. The roll is a 5. A 2-run blast from backup catcher Orlando McFarland. The Tigers have plated 6 here in the 6th and now lead at 7-1. And Sparma will bat. He's a 3-hitter. We'll have to get a different pitcher's hitting card out here. There we go. 2 down, base is empty now. Here's the pitch to Sparma. Sparma is a right-handed hitter on a 6-7 grounder to second base X. That's going to be Smith. A 2E28. Here's the play on a 6. Smith, a fine play, throws him out, and that will do it. However, the Tigers bat around in the 6th inning, putting up 6 runs on 5 hits. There was a walk, no one left on, and they take a 7-1 lead to the bottom of the 6th. And then I'm reading Gary's comment now. That's why I'm laughing. Yeah, I don't know how many times I've done that myself. This one, as soon as you say something, it's like the Strat gods come down like a thunderbolt and say, oh yeah, watch this. So Boston's in a hole now. Dressen probably would be happy to get some length out of Sparma now. He's an R4 as far as endurance goes. And he's only worked 1/3 of an inning, so he's good to go for a while, I would say. And here's Yastrzemski to lead things off in the bottom of the 6th. Sparma, the windup. The pitch to Yaz on a 111. That's a high fly ball to right field. Back goes K-Line, and that one's gone. Home run Yastrzemski. Holy cow, he put a charge into that one, and it's 7-2. On a 111, a homer to 10. His roll is a 7. Carl Yastrzemski, I think that's his first. Again, I do not have my numbers here. They're at the laptop that is in the shop. So here's Canigliaro now. 0 for 1 with a ribby. Sparma, the windup. Here's the pitch on a 5-11. That's left field X. That's going to be Horton. Horton, a 4E6. Horton drifting to the line. Here's the play on a 2. That's going to be down. It gets past Horton. Canigliaro rounding. He's in with a double. And this is starting to resemble more the game I was expecting, given the 2 starting pitcher cards. Of course, they're both out of the game now. And here's George Scott. Boston doesn't want to give it all away. They've got to get somebody else up just in case. There's a good long man possibility. Bucky Brandon's going to begin throwing lightly in the Boston pen. And here's... Sorry, no, he's not. Brandon, well, he can throw if he wants to. Aguirre's already throwing in the Red Sox pen. He's going to be joined there. Who should join him? Terry Fox will join Aguirre in the Detroit pen. So a double by Conigliaro, followed up Yastrzemski's home run, and here's Scott. Sparma ready to work now. And here's the pitch, a 4-8 to the righty. That's a base hit into left field. That's an open single. Conigliaro could try to score on that. He probably won't. Horton's a -1. He's a 13. With nobody out, there's no sense in that. He'll hold up. And it's first and third. Right-handed batters coming up, and now Fox is throwing with more authority. Sparma will get a little leeway with a 7-2 lead, but not much more. As here's Tillman now, 0 for 2 today. Runners at the corners, they'll play back. They'll give up a run for 2 outs here as Sparma from the stretch comes to the plate now on a 4-8, and that's a single into left field. That's going to score Conigliaro. It's 7-3. RBI Tillman on the 4-8. That's an open single, so Scott can try to go to third. Again, that's a -1. It's a -3, actually, from left to third, so he'll hold up. And it's 7-3. And here comes Chuck Dressen. And that's going to be all for Sparma. Sparma's given up 4 consecutive hits to start the 6th here after he was staked to a huge lead. And Dressen's seen enough, and I don't blame him. Sparma only pitched a third of an inning. He gave up 4 hits. 2 runs so far. And here comes Terry Fox, the right-hander. Fox had a long career. He pitched for, actually he'll be pitching for the Phillies later in this season as he gets traded. He also had a long relief career for someone else, and I can't put my finger on it right now. In any case, right now he is with Detroit and he's coming in to pitch here. So runners at the corners, still nobody out. 7-3, Detroit, and here's Petrocelli. Fox from the stretch, he's ready to go now. The pitch to Rico on a 4-7. That's a base hit with a 2-base advance into center field. That's going to drive in Scott, Petrocelli into third, and it's 7-4. So just like that, Boston comes charging back. And here's Smith now. Infield back. Fox from the stretch. Here's the pitch. It's a 2-9. Swung on and missed strike 3. And that's the first out of the inning. And now we'll have a pinch hitter for Sanders. Sanders came on in the top of the 6th. So he started there. He only pitched a third. No, that's not right at all. He pitched an inning. So they had 2 hits. He was taken out. He gave up 1, 2, 3. He gave up 4 hits. 4 runs. So that would make the other 3 runs charged to Moorhead. That's correct. He walked 1. Struck out 1. Boston will need a new pitcher. That'll be Bucky Brandon. Right now, they need a batter. So runners at the corners, 1 away. It's a 7-4 ball game now. Coming off the bench for Boston, it's going to be Dalton Jones. Dalton, a left-handed batter. So 7-4, Detroit, bottom of the 6th. Runners at the corners, only 1 away. Here's Dalton Jones now. And here comes Dressen, and he's going to pull Fox right here. He has a Gary warm. And that's who he's going to go to, the left-hander Hank Aguirre. So Fox manages only 2/3. Oh no, that was Sparma. I'm sorry. I keep messing up Fox's line here. Fox came in here, he only worked 1/3, struck out 1. He gave up a hit, struck out 1. Did not walk a batter. I get the feeling I may need more space on this sheet for pitchers the way this thing's going. It'll be Aguirre now, left-hander. Are they going to call back Jones, or are they going to let him bat? Jones is decent against left-handers. Let's see what else Boston has on the bench. They may want to counter here. They've only got 4 guys left on the bench. On the other hand, this could be their only shot, so they are going to counter. They're going to pull back Jones. Well, they don't pull him back. He was already announced, so he's out of the game. He comes back, and George Thomas will come up and bat. And finally, we're set. So it'll be Hank Aguirre pitching to George Thomas with runners at the corners and 1 away. Let's check the runner on first for speed. That's Petrocelli. He's a 13. Aguirre a -1. He's not going anywhere. He won't be held. Infield will be back from the stretch. The pitch to George Thomas on a 3-7 against the left-hander. He draws the walk, and the bases are loaded. Petrocelli goes down to second. And here's Lenny Green with the bases loaded and 1 away. Aguirre set now, the windup. The pitch to Green is a 6-3 to the left-hander, and he's a weak. Oh my God, look at that. 6-3 home run. Green is a weak. That's going to be a double asterisk single, however. That will plate 2. Tillman comes in to score. Petrocelli comes in to score. Thomas speeds into third on a 2 RBI single by Lenny Green. And suddenly it's 7-6. And now we do have a wild one. I thought it might be because of the starting pitchers, but they actually did pretty well. It's the bullpen that's been poured a gas can on the whole thing here. And Boston will bat around with still only 1 away. Here's Eddie Casco now, 1 for 3 today. Here's the pitch from Aguirre. That's going to be a 2-6, and he walks him, and the bases are loaded again. So now we're going to have to move this inning out over here. This becomes a continuation of the 6th. So I'm going to make this easier on myself. I'm going to put this walk here. We'll do it like that. Bases are loaded. Still only one away. And here's Yastrzemski with Tony Conigliaro on deck. 7-6 ball game. Here's the pitch to Yastrzemski. That's a 2-9. That's a grounder to second. Boy, that's exactly what Aguirre was looking for. Lumpy to McAuliffe to first, double play. And he gets out of it, but not before. 5 runs come across the plate for the Red Sox on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits. They leave 2 on. And after 6 complete, it is Tigers 7, Red Sox 6. And holy cow, did that get out of hand in a hurry. We went from a pitcher's duel to very much a wild one. Okay, they batted around. He made the last out. So here's Brandon. He's coming in here to face the top of the lineup. Let me change these now, or I'll get all messed up. That's going to become the 7th inning. Eight, and so on. All right, I'm going to take a short break and catch my breath after that. That was a wild 6th inning. The Tigers plate 6. The Red Sox come right back and score 5. Bucky Brandon will be coming on for Boston. Thomas is done. Top of the order for Detroit, Wirt, Lumpy, and Cash. Wow. Bear with me, guys. I just got to take a minute and absorb all this. That is one busy 6th inning. That's all I got to say. Okay, we're underway. Wirt stepping in now. Bucky Brandon, the fresh pitcher, on for Boston. The windup, the pitch to Wirt. That's a 6-4 to the righty. That's third base X. That'll be Casco. Eddie Casco is a 3-11. Goes to his left. Here's the play on a 2. He can't get there. That's a base hit. Leadoff single for Wirt, and here we go again. Here's Lumpy now, 1 for 3. From the stretch. Here's Brandon's pitch. A 4-3 to the righty. Fly ball to right field. That's playable for Tony. Conigliaro, he's there and makes the catch, and there's 1 down. Here's Norm Cash now, 1 for 2. Brandon staring in from the stretch. Pitch to Norm is a 2-6, single to 4, but that liner is going to find the glove of Smith, and there's 2 down. So a line drive to second base for the 2nd out of the inning, and here's Al Kaline now, 0 for 2 with a walk. Brandon from the stretch, here's the pitch to Kaline on a 3-5, tapper to second. That's Smith, he's got it and throws him out. So no runs a hit, they leave a man. When Wirt got that single, I'm thinking, here we go again. But Brandon restores order. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. The Tigers still leading 7-6. Conigliaro, Scott, and Tillman. Aguirre's going to start the inning. Fred Gladding warming. Larry Sherry, of course, the stopper that year for Detroit. It'll be a very short leash for Aguirre here against these right-handed hitters. Here's Conigliaro to lead it off. Aguirre, the sign from McFarland. Here's the pitch on a 1-4. Foul ball. That's playable. Third base. Wirt has it. And there's one down. George Scott up now. He's 1 for 3 today. Here's the pitch from Aguirre. That's a 4-3 to the righty. Fly to right field X. That's K-line. Good as gold at a 1-E3. And here is the play. On A6, a fine play by Al Kaline. It's his second defensive gem of the day. And there's 2 down. And here's Tillman now. Aguirre the windup. The pitch to Bob Tillman is a 4-6. That's a base hit into left field, and Tillman has a 2-out single. And that'll bring up Rico, 1 for 3, singled and struck out twice. Aguirre from the stretch. The pitch to Rico is a 6-9, swung on and missed, strike 3. And Aguirre does cut through those right-handed hitters like a hot knife through butter. 1 hit, no runs, a man left. After 7 complete, it's 7-6 Detroit. Top of the 8th, Bucky Brandon will come back out for his second inning of work. Osinski throwing behind him now. Here's Willie Horton to lead things off. Don Demeter's on deck as Brandon goes into the windup. The pitch to Willie Horton is a 2-3. That's a base hit up the middle. Lead-off single for Horton. Brandon a +1. Tillman a +3, so that's 4. So he'd be a 17 not held. On the other hand, yeah, he's not going to try it. With a 3/12, no way. Osinski's ready now. Here's Brandon's pitch to Demeter. On a 6-6, swung on and missed, strike 3. Down goes Demeter, and there's 1 away. And here's Dick McAuliffe now. McAuliffe 0 for 1 today. He walked and had a sacrifice fly. Brandon from the stretch. Here's the pitch to the lefty on a 6-7, and he walked him. He's going to take first. Here comes Billy Herman, not surprisingly. Demeter down to second. That's going to be all for Brandon. With McFarland up, the pitcher's spot on deck. 1 away, runners at first and second. Dan Osinski's going to get the call. Brandon went 1 1/3. Brandon allowed 2 hits and a walk, struck out no one. And here comes Osinski. 3.61, 67 innings of relief. He got a pair of saves. And he'll be facing Orlando McFarland. McFarland, 1 for 3, had a 2-run home run in that wild 6th inning. First and second, 1 down. Here's the pitch from Osinski to McFarland. On a 1-6, swung on and missed, strike 3. Down goes McFarland on strikes. And now it's the pitcher's spot. So let's see what the Tigers want to do here. They've got Aguirre. No, they took him. Yes, they do have Aguirre. Well, that's interesting because it's Smith. Boy, they'd kind of like to go with Aguirre. He's their only left-hander. You've got Smith, the pitcher's spot, and then Green and Yastrzemski are lefties. You could go with Pena. He's a backwards righty. Or they could just go to shut the door. Yeah, they need to hit here. There's no question about it. I don't know why I'm even thinking about this that hard. They're going to send up a hitter for Aguirre. There's 2 down, runners at first and second. They got to try to get an insurance run here. So they'll hit for Aguirre. 5 1/3. 1 2/3 Aguirre worked. He did well. Let's see, he came on here. So he gave up 2 hits, 2 walks, and a K. He didn't allow any runs, but the 2 runners on are his responsibility. And now Detroit will send up a pinch hitter against Osinski, and that's going to be Northrup. Jim Northrup, a boyhood favorite of mine. He played in this game in real life, too. So Osinski came on to strike out McFarland, and now he'll be facing Jim Northrup with 2 away and runners on first and second. And here's the pitch to Northrup. It's all on the line here on a 1-4. It's going to be a pop-up on the right side. Scott's there. He's got it, and that will retire the side. So no runs, a hit, 2 left on. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Detroit 7, Boston 6. Let's see if Northrup might want to stay in the game. No, he's not going to stay in the game. Larry Sherry's going to come on for Detroit. He's going to try to pitch the last 2 and nail it down. Oh, those are outs, Ron, the dots. You mean here. Yeah, sometimes when an inning gets wild, I want to make sure I don't lose track of the outs. I've done it before. So Larry Sherry coming on to pitch the bottom of the 8th. It will be Smith, the pitcher's spot, and Green. Tigers clinging to a 7-6 lead. Sherry got the lion's share of the saves for Detroit that year. He had 20. ERA a little high at 3.82. But for the most part, he did the job. Smith stepping in now from the right side. Sherry, the sign from McFarland. Here's the windup and the pitch. On a 1-7, he walks him. Oh my, the old leadoff walk with a 1-run lead. Tiger fans do not want to see that, and Smith is aboard. He's a 0 with McFarland's +2. Smith could try for the lead. He needs a 3 to get it, no lead. And now we'll have a pinch hitter. Pinch hitter for Osinski, who worked 2/3. No hits, no walks, a strikeout, no runs allowed. So we're going to hit for Osinski. They're going to need another pitcher. They don't have a whole lot left down there either. Detroit with the lefties coming up. Dennis Bennett and Radath are loose. It'll be Bennett. Bennett, the left-hander, with Wirt, Lumpy, and Cash due up. And the Boston bench is getting a little thin here. There's really only one logical choice to hit here, and that would be Jim Gosker. And that's who it's going to be. Jim Gosker, the left-handed batter. Runner on first, not held, nobody out. Larry Sherry from the stretch, clinging to a one-run lead. Here is the pitch on a 6-7 grounder to second base X. That's Lumpy. Oh, God, this is deja vu. I've seen this before. A 4-E-8. Here's the play. On a 1, there it is. Single two-base advance. Lumpy can't get it. And just like that, Smith steams into third. And Boston has runners at the corners and nobody out. Trailing by a run, here's Lenny Green. Green's 2 for 3 today. Detroit does not have a lefty remaining in their bullpen. It's all Larry Sherry. Runners at the corner, that's the tying run. The runner on first is the go-ahead run, which is Gosker. He's not an asterisk, so he doesn't have to be held on. Boy, you hate to let the tying run score. But I think they'd take the double play, so they're going to play back. Here's the pitch from Sherry. From the stretch, the pitch to Lenny Green on a 2-9. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and down goes Green. And boy, is that a big strikeout for Larry Sherry. That's the first out of the inning. Now they'll definitely be playing back. And here's Casco. 7-6 Detroit, but Boston threatening here with runners at the corners and one down in the bottom of the 8th. Larry Sherry's been brought in. He's the closer. And here's the pitch to Casco. On a 3-5, it's a grounder to short, and that's going to be 2. How about that? McAuliffe has it. Feeds Lumpy to first, double play. Oh, my God, and Sherry gets out of it. A walk and a single, followed by a strikeout and a double play. No runs, a hit, 1 left after 8 complete. Detroit 7, Boston 6. And here's Dennis Bennett, the left-hander. He's coming on. Both teams have used 5 pitchers. Top of the order for Detroit. Wirt, Lumpy, and Cash. Oh, sorry, you're on the dots. I'm assuming you're referring to this. That would be outs. When the inning gets a little wild, I just do that to remind myself how many outs there are. I have been known to lose track. You know, in the old days we played the board game, you had the little, you had the playing field. It wasn't much of a playing field, and for me, it just takes up way too much space. So here's Wirt now, top of the 9th, 7-6 Detroit. Bennett, the lefty, ready to work. And here's the pitch on a 3-7 to the left-hander. It's a liner, speared by Casco. 1 down, and here's Lumpy. Bennett. The pitch to Lumpy is a 4-7, swung on and missed, strike 3. Strikes out the left-hander. And that'll leave it up to Norm Cash here with 2 down. Bennett gets the sign from Tillman now, and here's the windup. The pitch to Norm Cash on a 1-5, swung on and missed strike 3. So Bennett comes on, retires the side in order in the 9th, and here we go. Bottom of the 9th. Tigers holding on to a 7-6 lead. I want to check something here. Let's see if Detroit has another second baseman on the bench. They've got a 2E47. I'm not sure that's any better. I'm thinking about getting Lumpy out of there. Yeah, I'm not thinking a 2E47 is much of an improvement. He gets the day off. Could put in Euler at short, though. Yeah, we're going to do that. Ray Euler is going to come on for McAuliffe, take over at short, where he's a 2E28. And that will be the only change. So it's up to Larry Sherry. And Ron's for the Tigers. And hello, Aaron, and welcome. Yeah, poor Yaz left on deck. Casco hit into the double play. Well, Yaz will lead off the 9th. Heart of the order. Sherry has to get through here. Tigers leading 7-6, but it's Yaz with Canigliaro on deck. George Scott in the hole, and if anybody gets on, Bob Tillman? Maybe, maybe not. Sherry with the windup. The pitch to Yaz on a 6-7 grounder to second base X. And that's Lumpy again. 4E8. Here's the roll on the play. On a 10. That's the error range. So he's an E8. The roll is a 10. And how about that? Lumpy makes the play. Fine play by Lumpy to retire Yaz. And here's Canigliaro. Tension in the crowd now mounting. One down, trailing by a run. Here's Canigliaro. Sherry with the windup. The pitch to Tony is a 4-4. It's a grounder to shortstop X. That's Euler, just inserted into the game for defense. He's a 2E28. Here's the play on a 12. That will be the error range. E28 on the roll of a 10. And Euler scoops it up and makes a fabulous play to throw him out. So a fine play by Ray Euler, just inserted into the game to take McAuliffe's place for defense at shortstop, and he makes a gem there. And now it's up to George Scott. Fans on their feet, holding their breath. Sherry, the windup. The pitch to Scott on a 4-4. That's a grounder to short X. That's going to be Euler again. Here's the roll on the play. It's a 20. Euler's got it and throws him out, and that's the ball game. So Euler comes on for defense and makes two fine plays. Down go the Red Sox. Larry Sherry does indeed hang on with a 2-inning save. And it's 7-6. Detroit is your final. Wow, that was a good one. Started off like a pitcher's duel, 1-1 through 5 innings. Then all hell broke loose in the 6th. And then there was no scoring after that. And thank you, Gary. And right, Aaron, yeah, I mean, it's almost like he knew they were going to hit it there. So Monbouquet, 1, 5 of the runs charged to him. So the other run would have been charged to Sparma. None for Fox. Bennett, the flawless 1 inning. Sherry was the story in relief, though, in his 2 innings. 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 K, no runs allowed. So who the heck are the winning and losing pitchers here? Well, Moorhead went 5+. He gave up the lead, so Moorhead's the loser. The winner a little bit more difficult. It can't be Monbouquet. It's not going to be Sparma. Fox only worked 1/3 of an inning. This is kind of like a scorer's decision, isn't it? You could really give the win to Sherry, which I'm inclined to do. If anyone has any opinions on that, that means he wouldn't get a save. But in my mind, it's either Aguirre or Sherry for the win. I think Sherry deserves the win. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to award the win to Larry Sherry. So for the Tigers, 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors. For the Red Sox, 6 runs, 13 hits, no errors. And there's your final. Tigers 7, Red Sox 6. First game of a doubleheader, first game of a 3-game series. I may play the second game later. I'm going to take a break and see how I feel. More likely than not, it will be tomorrow at the usual time. But I want to thank you guys for watching. It means a lot. And you got to witness another good one. The Strat-O-Matic, once again, does not disappoint when it comes to drama. And with that, I will wish you all a very pleasant Wednesday evening. Take care, everybody. I'll talk to you later.